Guys, Gary Blevins here, and I want to make a video about my climbing stick setup. So this time of the year, sometime guys are getting ready. A lot of people are modifying, getting their gear ready for the upcoming season. And so I want to share some of the modifications I have on my Lone Wolf sticks. I've kind of tweaked and got them to about as perfect as I think as you can get the Lone Wolf sticks in the past few seasons. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is how I have them on the pack. So I have a bungee ball goes around them. I actually have the standoffs twisted, and I'll talk about that in a minute, how I have that. And they are hooked through a loop at the top and then a strap around it. I'm going to show you, demonstrate why I have them on my pack that way. So when I have the pack on, we're going to pretend this pole is a tree. So I'm going in to hunt. I have everything I need on my back except for my bow. I'm going to walk up the tree. I'm going to set my bow down. I'm going to reach around my pack, and I have a Doyle's gear hoist right here. I'm going to reach down and clip that to my bow. If I reach behind my back, I don't ever have to take my pack off. I can find the bungee ball there. I can unfasten that. I can undo the plastic buckle. My dog here's going to be in the video, I guess. The girl. So now these are all just hanging off of that loop. And so if I reach around here, I can carefully slide that off. So now I just want to go ahead. Strap it to the tree. And what I'm using to strap it on with is a piece of daisy chain webbing. And I know this is really hard to find right now, next to impossible, but I have heard there's going to be some new options of this coming out. Basically, it's a piece of webbing with loops sewed into it. It's all rated for, I think, 2,000 pounds. Slide up one loop over the Versa button, go around the tree, slide it on there. And it's about as quiet and simple as you can get. Alright, so then I would put my lineman's belt on, I'd climb up, reach around, do the same thing. So I don't have to take my pack off to get my sticks, I don't have to do anything like that. The only downside, or the only thing I'm going to work on fixing, is if you notice there was a little bit of noise, and what that is from the standoffs hitting each other. So I'm actually going to experiment and try out wrapping the standoffs with some of the camo vet wrap material, and I'm going to see how that goes. So I'm going to talk a little bit about specifically all the modifications on these sticks. Alright, so the first thing besides the strap, and also by the way on the strap I tied a piece of shock cord on the end of it, so then you can loop that around your Versa button to keep it tight, and that just wraps around the stick. I took the original Lone Wolf sticks, the 32-inch sticks, I cut them down to 25 inches. I could have cut them down an inch shorter. The reason I cut them down is more for packability than it is for weight. It's a lot easier to pack a 24-inch stick than a 32-inch stick. It just seems to grab on everything. It seems awkward on the backpack because it either sticks up way above the top of the pack or sticks way down below the pack. So cutting them down, and the reason I originally left it an inch longer was for a removable aider. And so if you're comfortable with aiders, this design I got would work with that. I just never could get to where I liked aiders, so I just stay away from them for the most part. If you notice, the next thing you'll see is I got these wrapped in stealth strips. And if you're not familiar with stealth strips, they're awesome. It's just a camouflage, almost like a felt material with an adhesive on the back. They make them already the right width to wrap around their sticks. There's some other good things out there like the vet wrap I talked about. For sticks, for the outer shell of sticks, I like the Stealth Strip's the best. And it makes it soft. It makes it not as cold as a piece of metal in the wintertime, if that matters to you. But the biggest thing is it just makes it quiet. So you can, that's the metal. That's with the Stealth Strip. So I mean, yeah, if you really hit it on something, it's still gonna make noise, but it's a lot quieter otherwise. What you can't see underneath the Stealth Strips is I have a set of holes. So I drilled 1/2-inch holes on 1-inch centers on all 4 sides of these. So kind of like how the Beast Sticks look, all right? And that was to shave off some more weight off of them. And then the next biggest thing, and you guys seen how I had it packed, I have the standoffs turn. Well, normally you can't do that on these sticks because there's a nut on the bottom. So the bottom bolt where the step rests on sticks out the back and has nuts. So what I done is I actually took, I'll try to get this closer here so you can see it, a threaded insert. So I countersunk an insert, and that goes all the way into the stick there, all right? And so it's flush, all right? And it's threaded, so it's just like a nut, except that instead of sticking out, it's on the inside, and so the diameter of that insert is being supported in the wall. And I have not had any issues with that. I've used these for a little while. I've done that. That was the last modification. I've done another last year, and so far I haven't had any issues with that. Now, I will note that any kind of modification to these sticks are going to void the warranties, and you also are going to take all liability on yourself, as any kind of modification could damage the stick and could result in you getting hurt. So you've got to be careful, be safe, and realize that anything you do like that could have some consequences with it. But I don't have the weight on these. I used to. I think these are like right around 1.6 pounds with the strap, something in that ballpark. They're pretty light, and for me, they're just a lot more packable. And because the standoffs go sideways, you can use that to hook on that strap on the top of my backpack like I was talking about, so you can just hang them there. Now notice I only had 3 of these. With 3 and a platform, if you're saddle hunting, that's only going to get you about 12 to 15 feet, so without aiders. So if you want to go higher than that and not use aiders, then you would have to have more sticks. But you could do the exact same thing with them. So hopefully that gives some guys some ideas and a little bit of insight about some of the tweaks I've done to my Lone Wolf sticks. And so right now, this is still my preferred climbing method. I'm playing around with the bolts and a drill, but as far as for public land, this is my favorite. This is my favorite stick. I know a lot of guys like having 2 steps, and it is nice to have 2 steps on the top when you're setting up your naked climbing stick. But I've just got to where I just use these so much that it doesn't bother me not having 2 steps. You just lean back into your lineman's belt and just make sure you have a secure footing, and it's not an issue for me to be setting up my next stick and only have 1 step. So, all right, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks.